Hey guys, it's Gus,
and Carlos from Hardware Unplugged.
and today we're going to be checking out the Locus mouse pads. But before we get started, please make sure to hit that like button to show support, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. With that being said,
Let's begin. So we had already reviewed a Locus mousepad a while back, and at the time they offered a really smooth control-like surface that was surprisingly really great overall, especially for them being a new company. Now, if you haven't heard of Locus, it was started by a person named Stooge on Twitter who is from the Apex community and is a streamer. So when they announced their new lineup of mousepads, we were excited to see what they offered this time around. Their new mousepads come in 6 colorways, all with 2 sizes to choose from. We have the Kurai V2, Kurai Pastel, and the Wave. Personally, the Wave looks the cleanest out of these 3 designs as it has more of a sharper image. Their extra large measures 450mm by 400mm and is 3mm thick, and their extra large 900mm by 400mm and is 4mm thick. Now, after doing some comparisons, we found out it's basically an Algo Control Plus 2/Algo Control Plus. It's a well-balanced mousepad that is more on the speedier side of things, but not crazy with speed. Now, if you noticed earlier, I mentioned the 2 sizes and how the smallest size is 3mm thick, while the desk pad size is 4mm thick. Now, on paper, they both look like they will perform the same, and for the most part they do. But the thickness does actually make a difference when playing, and that will highly depend if you're the type of player that likes to get more control by pressing their mouse down on their mousepad. It's these characteristics that mousepads have that give them their own performance, but by also not being too different. We'll get more in depth later in the video. So, are the new Locus pads worth it? Let's get right into the video.
alright, so today we'll be checking out the Locus mouse pads. Now, let me make something very clear. This mouse pad surface are completely different from the first version of their mouse pads. You guys remember they had the Vector and they had the Kurai mouse pads.
Yeah.
Those are different surfaces. The surface of that one was more like a GameSense, I think I remember. Like GameSense, very like controlled surface. Right?
Very like smooth controlled surface type of deal. Yeah, that's basically like what it was. And now I don't think they're going to restock the Kurai, the original ones, right?
Yeah. I think I heard a rumor or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Or they posted up on Twitter, something like that, right? But the thing is that, look, they're already hard to buy.
Yeah.
Now with these new pads coming out, I seriously thought they're going to want to stock some of the old things back, right? But that being said, this is the new lineup, right? So what was your first thoughts on their on the new on their pads?
So when I got them obviously, right, they're different surfaces. They were faster. Yeah. So they're faster. Yeah. Actually, they remind me a lot of the Algo Control 2 surface.
Yes.
We're like rough and like it's like a Munson fabric surface. Yeah. So they didn't try to reinvent the wheel like you said, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
they really didn't.
The surface is I like speedy mouse pads, and this is a speedy mouse pad. But there are some differences here that I think you guys are gonna be interested in, right?
I know I did.
Yeah, exactly. Me too, right? So first, let's get with the dimension. This is the square comes in 450 by 400, and it's 3mm thick. The long desk pads they are different. They're 400 by 900. Yeah, and they're 4mm thick. And the base on the thicker one, I mean the longer one, it's really squishy.
That's what I liked about it.
It's really squishy.
Like you guys have seen multiple videos of me saying that I like pads that have squished them.
Yes.
So I was surprised that their little square one was actually very firm. Again, it was thin, right? It's 3mm. Yeah. Same material. but it's not as thick and it's not as squishy as their 4mm ones, which I found quite surprising because I don't think they mentioned that. At least not that I've seen.
No,
right?
Well, they mentioned on the website, but nobody. I haven't heard anybody say that. Talk about it, right? Talk about those differences, right? But first, let's take a look at the design. This is their Karai Pastel. This is their Wave version.
Yeah.
Over here in the back, I don't know if you guys, the camera can pick that up. This is their Karai, the V2 version again. This is the original color as a Karai. Well, not really original.
Not really original.
They are different. The colors are different.
Maybe it's due to the fabric. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe
it has
the
to
fabric
be the
doesn't
fabric,
right because on the original Karai they look more faded, but in a sense that the colors don't really.
They're brighter.
They're not. No. They're not really like neon color. Those are more like neon colorish, because you could see them more when it's like dark, and they look pretty bright. Yeah.
Like neon.
Yeah. Those. Or like kind of. It's I don't know.
I was gonna say actually the original version, the original Karai version. I like the colors in that one because they're like brighter to me. Like these are darker. These are dark. They're honestly like if you look at my keycap set that I have in the Eco, right? They're the neon keycap set. I think they match a lot better with. With the original surface, and I like the colors in that one better too, right? But we'll go ahead and show you guys the camera.
Yeah, there's no which one's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Which one you guys prefer? Personally, I really like the colors on the original version, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the surfaces they're basically the same on all of them, right? So no confusion like the Pure Check mouse, right?
No,
the colors and like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they do have other flavors. They have their I think they have their Sakura tree, right?
Which is, again, really nice design, honestly.
They have more designs, right? So now our experience with the mouse pad, right? So okay, how was your experience with the Square first, right?
The Square, I actually really liked it. It was kind of shocking because I was doing pretty well with it. I noticed that it was speedy, right?
Yes,
speedy pads are not typically my thing, but recently, I guess you know how many people trying out the TJ exclusive pads. We're trying all kinds of speedy pads. I was able to play with it. Yes, I was able to play with it pretty darn good. But whenever we went to the thick one, I liked it even more. Again, I have that shaky aim.
Yes.
But it's a really good. Not so fast, like right,
Yeah.
Because like this pad's like not really that fast, but it is speedy.
Yeah.
But because I'm able to sync my mouse pad, my mouse down, I had that control that I kind of wanted. Again, another mouse pad that has this is the Padsmith pad. You know what I mean? Squishy. It even feels like this type
squish,
of
right?
right. Ours is worn down. Because
Padsmith,
I did put a lot of time into the Padsmith.
So
I really like the mouse pad.
Yeah, so we can tell you exactly the performance is exactly the same. Out of the box and whatnot.
But looking at them side by side, even feeling them with your fingers, they really do feel similar.
But that squish more than anything feels very similar to it, no?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So it's basically kind of like this Padsmith, they have like a squish to it. But again, the Padsmith, the reason why the Padsmith is gorgeous, dude, because I ain't gonna that design is just holy crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, I had a really positive experience. Even with the little Square one. Again, I like them both. My tracking, flicking, everything was good with them. What about you?
See, so that's a difference. That base, see. So I like the Square mouse pad, right? I mean, I like the desk pad. As a matter of fact, I think I was using this one first.
Yeah, you were.
The desk pad first, and you used the Square, right? And I was liking it. I was having a good time. But then I went to the Square, right? I went to Square, and I was playing better. And I know it has to do because of that firmness.
Yeah.
So personally, I don't like squishy mouse pads. They mess with my aim because sometimes I try to track out. In intense moments, I'll squish a little bit too much, and I'll just miss my tracking, or I just wouldn't hit my flicks, or I'll just miss, and I'll lose to that. I'll lose my fights to that, right? With the Square, because it's firm, I didn't have the issue. I was there to play more consistently with it, and I was having a better time with the Square.
Yeah. That makes sense, honestly. Yeah. You just like the more firm pads, right?
Yes, exactly. Pads, And when it comes to like quality of the mouse pads, they all lay down flat. The stitching is very nice. Actually, it's super low profile.
It's really low profile.
It's raised up a little bit,
just
right,
a tad
from the
bit.
edge.
Yeah.
You know what? Now I'm feeling it right now. I feel like the one in the Square is raised up a little bit more than the squishy one. Right?
Oh, okay.
To the touch, I don't know if you feel it right now. You can feel it yourself.
I can, but I feel like that's because it's thicker. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Maybe the material is raised up.
But you will feel it a little bit more. Just a little bit more. That being said, they didn't irritate us at all.
The stitching is really top notch, honestly. It hasn't frayed. Like none of them have frayed
at all.
So
yeah.
And they do get affected by humidity.
They do.
What cloth pad really doesn't. Now, it does get affected by humidity, but it doesn't get absolutely destroyed, obliterated like some other pads, right? This one, when it comes to it getting affected by humidity, you'll notice it that it gets a tad bit slower.
Yes.
And it really doesn't have that speed, like right, like it. I don't know. To me, it really kind of didn't get
low effortless.
yeah, that low effortless speed.
Yeah, I guess it was.
But again, it's still a very consistent affected by humidity, because you know some mouse pads get affected by humidity and they get very inconsistent, very nasty feeling.
Yes.
This really wasn't like that. It's just
this one just
slows
down. Yeah, there's other mouse pads that when they get affected by humidity, I don't know. They're just like you'll track. It will be like if I'll be pressing down on my mouse pad hard, but I'm not, and they'll be super consistent at times, and sometimes it won't happen. So
yeah, right. It's just a very inconsistent glide on it.
Very bad glide. With these, it just slowed down.
Yeah,
so,
right. Oh, I will say this. This pad, we took it out. I remember on the first day, and we compared it to the Locus pad, right? Correct?
Yes.
Right. Basically, identical in the sense that they use again, right? They didn't try to reinvent the wheel here, right? This is nothing new. This material is nothing new.
With the Locus pad, which Locus pad?
I mean, not Locus pad. Agile cables. Right?
Yeah.
Again, this literally we took it out, same material as Agile cables, and we liked Agile cables too, by the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Read over here.
Right. And so, what I was trying to go with that is so it's the same material, but the difference between the Agile cables and this one, right, is that we notice that the Agile cables has a firm base.
Yes, it does have.
It has a way firmer base in this, right?
Like that,
and it's this pad. So maybe that's why you really like the Agile cables.
I
you remember?
Yes, I
remember how
did.
you were like, "Yo, I really like the Agile cables," and I was like, "Yeah, the Agile cables pretty speedy, you know."
Yes, it is.
But I was able to play with it pretty well too, right?
Yeah.
You know, now that we got one that's squishier, right? This is definitely more up my alley because it's squishier. The Agile cables, remember, because when you were using, you were like, "Yo, like you had a really good time," and again, it's because of that firm base.
Yes.
Right. So,
yeah, so that's pretty much it for the mouse pads. Locus, thank you so much for saying it out. This is Gus.
And Carlos from Hardware Unplugged.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.